Today is Monday, October 28, 2024. My name is Rob Carr of Kalamazoo Right to Life. This is Pro-Life Week. Well, according to my calculations, tomorrow will be exactly 1 week before the presidential election. So after a 2-year slugfest, we're finally coming to the end of the line, thankfully. Prayerfully, we're coming to the end. Historically, I'm old enough to remember when some presidential candidates didn't actually announce their candidacy until like the Christmas before the election, 11 months before the race. And now it's like 2 years. And, back in 1968, I was 14 years old, so do the math. People were not getting into the race until January of 1968, and then Lyndon Johnson pulled out of the race at the end of March of '68, and they're starting from square one with some of the candidates. And Robert Kennedy gets in, and he's assassinated, and Hubert Humphrey gets in, and he gets the nomination at the convention. Things are a lot different, and also typically, historically, if you're a Democrat, the fall campaign did not start at the convention. It really started on Labor Day, when the Democratic candidate would come to downtown Detroit, downtown Detroit, and there would be a large pro-union rally right there in downtown to kick off the campaign. It was always in Detroit. Well, that's long gone. It's long gone. So campaigning has changed drastically in the last 40, 50, 60 years. So we're coming to the end. I do not know if Donald Trump is going to win or Kamala Harris is going to win. I do not know if Mike Rogers will win for the U.S. Senate in Michigan or Ms. Slotkin. I think I have a much better grip on my prediction that the Republicans will take the U.S. Senate, at least 51, maybe 52 seats. I do think they're going to win at least 2 seats. The House, I don't know. I think the Republicans are going to retake the House just barely. Okay, it's close right now. But when it comes to the presidency, I don't know. I know Right to Life in Michigan, even though it did not officially endorse Donald Trump, they have publicly been saying, we cannot have Kamala Harris as our president. She is the most radical pro-abortion, an abortion-obsessed candidate. And that she is. That she is in spades. So if that's a backdoor endorsement for Trump, so be it. But even though we're not technically endorsing him, we are definitely telling people to vote against her. Go and vote against Kamala Harris. And as of this past Saturday, in-person early voting has begun all across the state. So please, this week, go early and vote. You never know what's going to happen. You could have a car accident or get pneumonia, or that sounds terrible, or your kids might get sick, or you have an accident, a car accident. You just never know what bad luck can go your way, and it would prevent you from voting on election day, on November 5th, Tuesday. So vote early, get that out of the way, vote early, do your civic duty and vote for our pro-life candidates. Okay. I did see just a short clip on YouTube. MSNBC's Stephanie Ruhle was talking to a non-binary individual. And this woman, I think it's a woman, said that if she had an opportunity to ask Donald Trump a question, she would ask him, do you think I'm a human being? And Stephanie Ruhle kind of gives that, oh gee, what a horrible thing that a presidential candidate would not consider you a human being, as if somehow Trump would not acknowledge her humanity. I mean, it's a ridiculous question. And Stephanie Ruhle legitimized it by showing all this great compassion, because somehow they believe that Donald Trump does not consider a transgender person a human being. That is just how they view, that, what is it, Trump derangement syndrome. It's just, he's a Nazi, he's a Hitler, he's a fascist. The rally they just held, I think it was yesterday, in Madison Square Garden, the Trump campaign. That all the liberals now are talking about this 1939 rally in Madison Square Garden, where the pro-Nazi Americans held this big rally with 19,000 people, basically in support of the Hitler regime. This was in 1939, before the war started. And at least, I'm not sure what month it was. But the war actually may have started in 1939 in Europe. But, the Madison Square Garden has held Democratic and Republican national conventions. Does that mean that when they held their conventions there, they were copying what the Nazis did? Or when the Knicks played basketball, or the, other sporting events or rock concerts? The Madison Square Garden has been used for hundreds of different venues or events. And just because Trump is going there, all of a sudden, just like 1939 with the Nazis. These people are absolutely shameless. They just cannot control themselves. Every single thing they see coming out of Donald Trump's mouth is reminiscent of Hitler or of Nazism. It's just unbelievable. He is not a Nazi. He is not a 21st century Hitler. He's not going to lock people up in concentration camps, or he's not going to shut down newspapers and lock up journalists. He's not going to arrest his political opponents and put them in jail, or conduct, show trials and lock them up. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Okay. So going back to this transgender person saying to Trump, do you think I'm a human being? So life has a lot of nuances. Not everything's black and white. There's a lot of gray in how we live our lives, how we see the world. And for the transgender person to say to Trump, do you see me as a human being? A lot of pro-lifers can say the same, or ask the same question to liberals, not about themselves, but about the unborn. Is the unborn child in the womb, is the unborn a human being? Whether or not you want to call the unborn a person, is the unborn a human being? And if the main argument is, if the mother is human and the father is human, the offspring, logically, genetically, is human. So that's the question that I would ask Kamala Harris. Is the unborn baby in the womb a human being? And I'd like to ask that question to a lot of these journalists and a lot of other, Tim Walz and other politicians who are pro-choice. Is the unborn a human being? Because for them to say, no, it is not a human being, they have to deny biology, and they have to deny genetics, DNA. I mean, there's a lot of medical facts, and I know I'm belaboring the point, and we all know the truth that DNA proves that from the moment of conception, that embryo, that zygote, that unborn baby has a different structure, a genetic ladder, that's the word, I can't think of the term I want to use now, than the mother or the father. Completely unique individual. Completely unique. No one has ever or will ever have the same genetic makeup of chromosomes that that little infant has in the womb. Is it in the mother's body? Yes, it is. It is obviously in the mother's body, but it is not the mother's body. It is not. I want to close here just with a final thought about our messaging, because I know I kind of veered off kind of into abortion, and we're trying to convince women, especially women, who are facing crisis pregnancies, that that they go to Planned Parenthood, and Planned Parenthood basically gives them one option. You're 20, you're unmarried, you're a college student, you're gonna have to drop out of school, you'll never get your degree, you have to raise this baby, you'll be poor the rest of your life, and you're not going to have any more freedoms. And we want to tell that woman, no, you do have options other than abortion. And one of your principal options is the option of life, giving that baby life. That is the other option that Planned Parenthood is not telling you. Life, the other option. And the joy and the blessing and the just the thrill of life that little child can bring to your family and bring to herself or himself. You see a little kid playing. They don't know the birds and the bees. They don't know how they were conceived. But they are overjoyed to be alive. They just love life. And we want to recommend and encourage all women in crisis situations that they would choose life. The other choice. With that, I'll let you go. Vote early. Vote today or sometime this week before the general election. With that, I'll let you go, and I'll see you next time.